Hey folks, this is Gabe at Security Baron, and your online safety has never been more important. So we're going to put a virtual private network to the test today with IVPN. In today's review of IVPN, we're going to look at some pros and cons, its feature set, run some speed and leak tests before checking out its subscription options and customer support, and finally dive into that mobile application IVPN app to make sure you have all the information you need to make the right decision. If you'd like to see a list of our favorite VPNs, Google Security Baron Best VPNs. If you have a question about today's review, leave us a comment and I'll get back to you. Let's kick off today's review of IVPN, looking at some pros and cons, beginning with the pros. Now, IVPN has a strict no data logging policy. On top of that, it has multi-hop, giving you an extra layer of encryption on your traffic. And finally, it has split tunneling, so you can use both the public and private network for your web traffic. Now, moving on to the cons, you won't be able to use Netflix with IVPN. So if you're trying to go into Canadian Netflix, which does happen to have John Wick, you won't be able to get that Keanu Reeves fix. Now, if you're trying to torrent on US servers, you also won't be able to do that. And the final thing we'll note on the con side is that it's a little expensive as compared to its competitors, coming in at about $8 a month for the annual plan. Now that we've gone over some pros and cons for IVPN, let's jump into its feature set, beginning with its data logging policy. And IVPN has a really strict no data logging policy. It's actually quite impressive. They just hold on to your email address and payment information. No IP activity, no account information, no web traffic information. That's all going to be gone. In fact, if you end your subscription, they absolutely delete everything as if you never even existed, which is pretty impressive and should be the baseline for every VPN, but it's just not the case. Now, if you're looking at kill switches, IVPN has the kill switch, also known as a network lock feature. And this functions like this. You are on the internet using a browser or an app, and for whatever reason, IVPN goes out. Well, at that exact moment, they'll also end your internet connection with that browser or with that app to make sure that no one can peer into what you are doing on the VPN. Generally speaking, browsing with a VPN is going to be a little bit slower, which is why we like to see features like split tunneling. Now, IVPN provides that. You can split tunnel, which means you can be on both a public and private network at the same time, which overall reduces your bandwidth, increasing your speed. Now, something else we love to do with our VPNs, of course, is get onto Netflix. Unfortunately, with IVPN, there is no Netflix access, so you won't be able to use that service. Now, when it comes to torrenting, you can torrent with IVPN, just not on any of its US servers. And that's our look at the feature set for IVPN. All right, wait, hold on. I hope you're enjoying today's review of IVPN. If you want to be kept up to date with the newest in VPNs, password managers, smart home security, smart bulbs, you get the deal. Subscribe to our channel. We're dropping new content weekly. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. We're gonna jump into some testing of the IVPN, specifically speed and leaks. Now, just so we're clear, the baseline for all of my tests of VPNs is using a MacBook Air and a Windows VivoBook in my Brooklyn apartment on the Optimum network. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so let's start out with our speed test. Now, first I tested download speed. On my Mac, I only saw a difference of 6%, which when it comes to VPNs is essentially nothing. Now, the VivoBook's download speed slowed down by over 50% once I put on IVPN. Now, when it comes to upload speed, things were reversed. There was a 6% slowdown on the Windows computer and a 20% slowdown on my Mac. Now, ultimately, those are pretty minimal. Now, the final thing I tested was latency, also known as ping. And here we saw a significant slowdown with 150% more latency on the Mac and 45% more on the Windows computer. Despite that, I'm still pretty impressed with IVPN speed on both of my computers. Now that we've gone over speed, I want to do a DNS leak test. Now, DNS stands for Domain Name Server, and essentially this is making sure that none of the domain names for the addresses you're visiting are being leaked. If you want to have an analogy, it's kind of like going to the White House, but knowing that the underlying address is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, fortunately, in our test, we never had any DNS leaks with IVPN. Now, the last test we ran for IVPN is the WebRTC leak test. Now, WebRTC stands for Web Real-Time Communication, and that's anytime you're sharing large files, live streaming footage, or doing something like FaceTiming, because it bypasses servers and has a direct connection between you and someone else's device. Fortunately, for IVPN, we found no WebRTC leaks. All right, we've spoken a lot about what IVPN can do, but let's talk about how much it's going to cost you. Now, with IVPN, it's not for the faint of heart in terms of its monthly cost being $15. Now, you can get it down a little bit if you decide to pay quarterly, or it goes down to $13.33 a month. And if you decide to go for an annual subscription, you can get it all the way down to $8.33 per month. But that is definitely on the higher side for VPNs, so if affordability is a concern for you, you may want to look somewhere else. Let's talk about customer support with IVPN. Now, there are 3 options for getting help with your IVPN service. You can go onto their online help center, check out some guides, some FAQs, that type of thing. You can, of course, fill out an online form and someone will get back to you, or you can do what we did, which is just live chat with the customer service representative. Now, if you're looking to call anyone, that's not going to be an option for you. And our experience was actually quite pleasant with our customer service representative. And because there are no online reviews available for IVPN, that's really the only thing that we can tell you about it, is that we had a pleasant experience with a knowledgeable customer service representative. The final thing I want to jump into today in our review of IVPN is its mobile application, the IVPN app. This is where you'll be doing your interfacing with it on a mobile device. And just to be clear, you can use the app on a host of devices, but today we're going to be focusing on the iPhone and Android devices. Now, in the Apple App Store, it has a 4.1 out of 5-star rating, and in the Google Play Store, it has a 4.2 out of 5-star rating. So let's go ahead and check it out on my iPhone 7 Plus. Here I am inside of the IVPN mobile application. Now, if you look in this mobile app, it's pretty straightforward. It says tap to connect, and we can connect to the best city in the world, New York. Now here we have a secure connection. If you look on the upper left-hand side, it says VPN. I could change that, of course. I could go to another place. I could go to Vienna. And here I am now connected to Austria, or Österreich, as they would say. Yeah, my German is terrible. Now, if I go into the upper right-hand corner, that's your settings. And I can turn on multi-hop connection, which gives you a little bit more in terms of encryption layers. So if I go to Vienna, I can decide to go through Sofia. You just have a few more options. Now, in terms of what you get here in settings, you can also change your protocols to IPsec, OpenVPN, or even WireGuard. Now you can look at your OpenVPN logging, your network protection, just a lot of different options here in the app. Let's go and check out Prague. So I tap here and we're ready to go. So overall, the final point I want to make about IVPN is that it's a pretty easy, enjoyable, and straightforward app to use on your mobile device. All right, we've gone over a lot when it comes to IVPN, but you want to know, Gabe, is this the right VPN for me? And while it comes with a lot of what we come to expect from VPNs, it also goes a little bit beyond that. Like its strict no data logging policy is actually stronger than some of the other ones we've seen on the market today. It also gives you the option to multi-hop right there in the mobile application, which, by the way, is also pretty straightforward and easy to use. Now, if you're someone who has Netflix as a centerpiece of their lifestyle, then you're gonna look somewhere else. Or if you just want to torrent on a US server, or if affordability is a major concern for you, because it is a little bit more expensive than many of its competitors out there on the market. But overall, we think that IVPN is a strong contender for your personal VPN. So that concludes our review of IVPN. If you appreciate today's video, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. As always, this is Gabe at Security Baron. Be secure.